Kia ora tātou, no mai haere mai to this wee kōrero about the website. My name is Colin McLeod. I'm the Director for the National Centre for Religious Studies, and recently a couple of people have said, look, can you just put together a wee clip that tells us how the website sort of works? And I'll give you a little bit of justification as we go along. Okay, so if you go to www.ourfaith.nz or www.tātou.nz, you will come to this space. Now, we're conscious that it's not perfect. We wanted it to be a little bit dynamic, but we also wanted it to not just be for teachers. So one of the pieces of feedback we got at the start was that we should make as much of it open as possible. And the reason that there's a password is solely because we had lots of teachers say, we don't want our wonderful darlings going ahead, watching the videos or looking at the material before we're wanting them to see it. That's why the password exists. It would have been great if it could have been available to everyone. So when you come onto this first page, we made it so that you don't actually see where the material is for each year level until you go through these flip tiles. The thinking was you would become familiar with your own area, and it wouldn't take too much to work out where it is. If we go inside year 3, 4, you come in straight away to a general thing. Now be aware, a lot of this material is just for anybody. The teacher-specific stuff doesn't come in until it's needed. AO9 is a place you can climb around here. If we look at Te Rongapai Good News, you can see there's 3 areas for each. There's an overview, which is straight out of the curriculum. So you might as well use the curriculum document. If you haven't got it nearby, you can go to here. And there's a whānau page. Strongly encourage you to look at the whānau pages, grab them, download them, use pieces of them in your newsletters, or send them home with your children before or at the end. Ideally before, because there's lots of activities where kids can talk about what it is that they're learning. The part where you need the password is the learning packs. This is teacher material. As soon as you click on this, by the way, you'll notice down here you could log in already if you'd wanted to. But if you click on learning packs, immediately what will happen is that a screen will pop up and you need to put in the generic password for the country. And if you don't know the password, get in touch with NCRS or with your RE advisor. Our advice was that it made sense for everyone to have a single password because the content, again, is only being kept separate so that our young people can't access it too early. We're wanting as many people as possible to be able to access it. And also schools have paid for this content. So we're wanting it to be available to schools that are after it. Unfortunately, it throws you out to the front page again. We're going to try and get that fixed, but it's not too hard to actually whip in, get back into the learning pack material. Only a few more clicks. When you come in here, most of our material, primary and secondary, will have a set A and set B with a suggestion that you start here, the first ones. We call them suggested learning sequences because we have scaffolded the material so that the resources line up and make sense in terms of an order. It doesn't mean that we think that year 3s are in this particular area and year 4s are in this particular area as learners. It means that it's best to learn the set A material before you learn the set B material. So we click in the start here for most of the primary material that's coming through. There's a wonderful introductory video that Sam and Kate have put together for you, and start there. And then when you look at going into other material, they break down into a folder link. When we click on the folder link, it takes you to where all the material is stored. We don't have the capacity. There's so much material, we can't put it inside the website. So our advice by designers was to set up folders somewhere. We chose Microsoft 365, which everyone has access to, put the material in there, and then people can find their way around. You can see here the background notes, the overview, suggested learning sequence are all available. You can download these things yourselves, and in many cases that will be appropriate. Just please, please, please be conscious that we are coming back and editing, changing, developing these materials a lot. So we want you to also become familiar with going in and looking at what's new. And we can't always post what's changed. The other thing that happens is that Sam and Kate have created this visual overview. So for primary, you can actually go in and visually see what the material looks like, and they're clickable. So you can go to places and think, oh yeah, that looks good. I can work that straight away. Or more likely, you found something in the suggested learning sequence somewhere and you're not sure exactly where it is. The visual overview will be able to let you get back there really, really quickly. We've tried to make most of the links so that they will pop up outside of the page so that you just need to close it down and you'll be back where you were. Also, we are looking at, for the primary material, putting in a whole collated list of links. Now, the idea behind this is that after you have taught the material, you can again go and see where those links are quite readily without having to climb through all the material. Can you see as you look at this, the sheer amount of content makes it difficult to make it readily accessible with just 1 or 2 little clicks. So again, we're hoping that people will become familiar with the material and be able to come back to these places as well. The other thing is if you're wanting to move from one page to another, if we go down, you can see that you could say, jump into year 1, 2 resources just by clicking here, and that will take you to those phases of learning. So that, in a nutshell, is how the structure happens for teachers accessing material. The other thing I'd strongly suggest that you go is have a look in the curriculum tab at the top. This is the place where you can download the curriculum document, this file. This is a separate file, which is great if you're wanting to print a copy for yourself. Some of the pages, because the file's so big, they don't print properly. So I've done a second version, and you can grab it from here. This keeps you up to pace with where we are up to in terms of our resources. There are 2, I think, pretty good videos for saying where did we come from and where are we heading to. And again, another link to the curriculum document, and this learning intentions is another place that I strongly suggest you go to. Don't get freaked out about it. It's scaffolding for the AOs. In other words, what's this AO about? Well, here's some learning intentions that sit behind it. The AOs are compulsory, the learning intentions, as you know, are not. There's also for PD, I think 5 really good videos by various people sort of looking at the cross themes and what they mean at a teacher level for you to get your heads around. And finally, in this area, there is a spot where you can download the icons that are part of the curriculum to use in your own content. And also we've got the curriculum view grid and cover page themes, cross themes. On the front page, we also try to, if there's anything new, keep an eye on this. If we've done something fairly big, we will update these as they go. But finally, all these other areas are really just the curriculum transformed into being something that's a little bit more accessible on the web page, probably for families or for bishops and priests or for others that are not wanting to look at a whole curriculum document. They can access it there. The meat of this web sandwich is in these tiles, which you will find for your teacher materials. The chapel and the resources for all have been brought over from other parts of the website, much of it from Faith Central, as opposed to Faith Alive, and we're wanting them to develop. So there's a place for you to actually get in touch with us and say, hey, we've got something that would fit really well in those areas. We would love to have it. Thanks for your mahi. God bless you in your work. Thank God for you as teachers of religious education. Our kids are truly blessed in Aotearoa. As always, don't hesitate to get in touch if there's anything you want to suggest or ask.